Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, we're going to be talking about transit Mars conjunct one's natal Jupiter. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve Mars, they can be about action, motivation, drive, energy, enthusiasm, exuberance, and the thing about this is when you're having this planet, the transit of Mars conjunct your natal Jupiter, well, it could be a lot of action and motivation and energy and a lot of enthusiasm toward being optimistic, toward seeing the positive in things, the glass being half full in contrast to it being half empty. Also hope. If this is an Aquarius or in the 11th house in your natal chart, it could be a lot of energy and hope for the future and being motivated and driven by that. And it's also could be a lot of, if you've been procrastinating on this, it might be time where you might be taking action on traveling abroad. If it's in Gemini as an example, it may be to manifold countries or variety of them. And also Jupiter is connected with philosophy as well, and it might be a time where you might be more exuberantly perhaps expressing your philosophy, your beliefs, your opinions, doing so very courageously perhaps as well, and fearlessly. If it's an Aquarius, going back to the zodiac sign Aquarius, if it's an Aquarius as an example, it might be very unorthodox, unique beliefs, or how your belief system on astrology maybe. And also religion as well. Again, Aquarius could be being driven maybe toward an unorthodox religion. If it's in Capricorn, it could be one that's more conventional and orthodox. I don't mean like literally the Greek Orthodox religion, but I mean one that's just more typical and conventional. That this is something too where you might be, it might be about taking action in publishing something, whether it might be a book, or if it's something online that you've been hesitant about for some time and you were reluctant to put it up, this could be the time where you may be more inclined to put it out there and publish it at this time. And anyway, and if it's in like going back to zodiac sign Gemini, it could be like a lot of short stories as an example. Now, also too, Jupiter is connected with importing and exporting. So especially if you're already in this business, this could be a time where you may be more active in this, and you might be doing a lot more in connection with importing and exporting. Now, Jupiter is the planet connected with enthusiasm and exuberance, and you're having Mars could be connected with that as well. So this could be a time where that energy could be very intensified, and your energy in general can be amplified because Jupiter can amplify things, as I've talked about in previous videos. Is that Jupiter, though, I mean, it's very strongly benign and benevolent, but it's very paradoxical, could also have the tendency to enlarge and expand, sometimes for good, sometimes for negative. And it could be where you might be on energy overload at this time, and it's not always bad to have a lot of energy in order to accomplish things, but you just have to make sure you're finding constructive outlet for this at this time. Now another thing too, it's also, Jupiter is about expansion as well. So I mean, this is about a time where you might be have to take you might be more motivated and more enthusiastic about expanding your horizons at this time. If you have to say, if it's in the 6th house, it could be something connected with your employment and what you do. Maybe as far as servicing others is another way it might manifest. Now, anatomically speaking, Jupiter is connected with the liver, the sciatic nerve, pancreas. It could be connected with blood, and this is a time where you might be, again, going back to if you've had any hesitation or procrastination on these things, if you've had these issues that I described, something with the liver, the sciatic nerve, pancreas, or even blood related matter, and it's something, if you haven't had it checked in some time, where you think these things have been problematic and you've been procrastinating on them, this is a time where you may be more apt to take action on it. And another thing too, is that remember that Jupiter is about veracity and the truth. This is a time where maybe you might get a little angrier at finding out the truth, or you might just simply be putting a lot more energy and vitality into getting to the bottom of something if you've been suspicious about some matter at this time. So let's say, for example, if you have this transit in Scorpio in the fourth house in your natal chart, it could be about finding out maybe the truth being unveiled about a criminal background, which would be Scorpio, of a family member, someone you're close to home with. It could even be the less dominant parent, which is often the mother. It could be it could be some family member, which is the fourth house. Uh, and also too, another thing way that this transit can manifest, it could also be more fortuitous and auspicious in, I'm sorry, I should say, having more fortitude in expressing your beliefs and opinions. If it's something you've held back on for some time and you've been somewhat timid or apprehensive about this, this is the time where you may take action on this. And it could be about, like, say, for example, if this is in Pisces in the fifth house in your natal chart, it could be maybe in matters with hypothetical, which is could be Pisces, and sports, which is the fifth house matchups. Um, you might be talking about your beliefs on them. Uh, it could also be, another way this could manifest. This could also be where there may be more confrontations. It could be with publishers or even foreigners, maybe athletes in some cases, people that are involved with the law. It could be religious people at this time, and maybe people that are in the import exporting business, or people you may know in college if you are enrolled in some kind of college education course. Now, another thing too, I mean, this could be, speaking up. I mean, you have this, say, if it's an Aquarius, it could be maybe issues over an unorthodox type religion or belief system. But this could also be really fortuitous for like leadership, maybe sports, welding, surgery, independent matters, being self-reliant, anything that could be Mars related. If you have this in Gemini, it could be very fortuitous for maybe surgery on an arm, for example, or on the hand. But at the same time, as I've stated before about Jupiter being paradoxical, it could also exacerbate perhaps Mars-related issues, which, I mean, can cover it's a multitude of things. It could be, something with cuts or burns, even accidents in some cases. Now, or even confrontations. It could be injuries. Um, if you have this in Pisces, it could be some injury to the feet or the toes. Could even be, in some isolated cases, that this could manifest in surgery, because Mars is connected with surgery on something that could be Jupiter related, like perhaps something with the liver or the hip or the pancreas, the sciatic nerve. And also too, it could be, at the same time, it could also exacerbate, some kind of, maybe physical issue you might have, because Mars could be connected with physical injury. And if it's in Capricorn, it could be something with the knees, the bones, the joints, the hamstrings. Aquarius could be the ankles or the calves. Taurus could be something with the neck, etc. And keep in mind too, when you're talking about this as well, some cases it may manifest in accidents that may actually be fortuitous, almost serendipitous. It can be something like, for example, like if a car, there's some accident with a vehicle and your car goes down the embankment, and then you make some discovery that might be beneficial. It could be, something simple like a business card that you find and you call the person up on there. You're looking for some kind of position in there, they're hiring. I mean, I understand this could be very isolated, but again, it can be some kind of accident that might actually lead to something that can be more beneficial. And keep in mind too that this is also can be about escalation of anger, some kind of contentious situation. Remember, Mars is about, it's acrimonious energy, it's combative and confrontational. So you might find during this transit that you might be embroiled in more physical. It could be sometimes physical confrontation, and a lot of it could just simply be verbal. Verbal situations at this time. And say if you have this in the fifth house as an example, it could be with lovers or children, maybe people that figure that are prominent in your fun, your amusement, your enjoyment, somebody that you might share some creative endeavor with. And fifth house is also personal popularity, so it might impact that for better or for worse. And of course, a lot of that could be predicated and dependent on aspects that makes the points in your chart. But anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.